Okay, so those are the characteristics of the forms, and when I left last time, I was telling you about Will Durant's view of the forms from his great book called The Story of Philosophy. And he says the forms are laws, ideas, and ideals. And forms are laws because they govern the physical world. So for example, the law of gravity is one that we discover. And if you imagine this law of gravity existing, then it's a form in this sense. It's existing in this heavenly, non-physical realm. The forms are also ideas, but they aren't dependent on the mind that thinks them. That's important. They're not just ideas. These ideas have objective reference. So for example, the form of a triangle may be an idea, but I can be correct or incorrect about the form of a triangle. I could say the angles, for example, add up to 181 degrees. Now, so this is a good response then. Even if the forms don't exist in some heavenly realm, it's a good response to the sophists, who were relativists, because it shows there is objective knowledge. Finally, the forms, according to Durant, are like ideals, something we strive for, because all triangles are striving towards triangular perfection, of course. They are triangles in virtue of their participation in the form of triangle. And all people are striving towards actualizing their human potential and ascending to this human form. So there you have it. Those are the forms. And one general argument, I don't think it's a very strong one, but to try to get a sense of an argument for why people believe in the forms, is the following. Again, we have perfect knowledge of things like triangles, but that perfect knowledge can't come from the imperfect, changing physical world. Therefore, it must be knowledge of a transcendent, eternal, unchanging realm, the realm of the forms. I think that's a rather simplistic argument. It doesn't really get to the heart of Plato's ideas, but it's a building block. Now, finally, there's the form of the good. And let me pull up that picture again. Remember, the form of the good is at the very top, and it's represented by the sun in the allegory of the cave. It gives light to all things, just as the form of the good gives existence and being and goodness to all things. Plato even says the form of the good is beyond existence itself, which makes it completely incomprehensible. So we have this form of the good as the highest and mysterious form. It's the one form that can't be fully defined, and yet all things depend on it somehow. So I wrote a paper a long time ago where I argued that this is mysticism. So Plato takes this really rational approach down here, right, where you're defining the universal essences of things and the forms, but the form of the good is something you can't intellectually grasp. It's something you must experience. And this idea that you must experience it is mysticism. Okay. Again, he takes this really logical approach, but in the end you have to experience ultimate reality, apprehend it immediately. And I believe, part of me believes that what he's saying is that at the heart of reality there is value in goodness. It's not just dead, inert matter. Their value is out there, not just in here based on my preferences. Value is built, goodness is built into the structure of the universe. So that's one way I read this, but there's another way too, and this may be closer to what he meant. We say things are good when they're actualizing their potential or when they're performing their function well. So for example, a good knife is one that cuts well, performs its function well, and actualizes its potential. So everything is striving towards its form. So humans are striving to actualize their potential. Knives are striving to be good cutting objects, and triangles are striving towards this perfection of interior angles and so on. And so in that way, the good is in everything, because when you achieve good form or understand the form of a thing, you understand its function. Okay, so there's another meaning here. It's not just about this idea that value is at the heart of the universe. Anyway, this idea of good greatly influenced later religious thinkers, and it does have some similarities with God, but I'll just sidestep that issue here. Okay, so let me pull up the slideshow again, and you can see there are criticisms of the forms. There's a lot of them. Okay, just to give you a sense, there's the idea that it unnecessarily duplicates the real world. It posits a multitude of essences with no ground. One interesting criticism is that if the forms aren't physical and they're not in space and time, then how do they control and govern and interact with things in space and time? How can these things touch and interact and cause each other or govern? How can the forms govern? And this is very similar to the problem that dualists on consciousness face today. But that's a problem. And there's so many. Let me show you this other slide. You can pause it if you're interested in reading them. But there are many criticisms of the forms. And Plato criticized his own theory of the forms in the book called the Parmenides. So there you have it. Hopefully this lecture gave you a better idea of how this divided line and the cave story work together to describe this process of enlightenment, this process of moving from illusion to reality, of turning your eyes to a larger perspective and broader understandings. The story of the allegory of the cave and the divided line just captures so much of his metaphysics, his epistemology, ethics, politics, philosophy of education, and it does it in a very intuitive and symbolic way. In the end, I think it reminds us that the limits of our understanding, even if you reject the forms and stuff, I think the cave story reminds us that the limits of our understanding or thinking are not the limits of reality, and what we take to be real may in fact be an illusion. And this in turn should lead to Socratic wisdom and just a sense of humility. Thanks.